Hi everybody, this is the Patriot, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Patriot. I hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So if you've been watching the channel, we've gone over a lot of stuff, just a couple of videos, really, so much detail in terms of what's been going on, or what happened with the John F. Kennedy assassination on November 22nd, 1963. 35th President of the United States. There's so much that's out there, so much public knowledge, so many files that are out there already, and that have been out here for a very long time. And I don't know, people have sort of forgotten about it, but amazing. Some of the things I've covered on this channel is George H.W. Bush, the President of the United States from 1989 to 1993. Vice President of the great Ronald Reagan. Apparently, he was the mastermind. He was the mastermind behind the Bay of Pigs. The Bay of Pigs was called Operation Zapata, which ironically, isn't it amazing? That was the name of his oil company in Texas. And according to some reports, according to the files, he was in Dallas the day of the assassination. He's also been known as a liar because he lied to the public. He said that he had been with the FBI no later than 1967, but that was a lie. He was known to have been working with them since 1961. So he had lied. I don't know when he was talking about this. I don't know it was when he was vice president or president, but those things, that is true. All that has come out. That is public knowledge. A lot of that came out 5 years ago when President Trump back then exposed those files. And as you know, on March 9th, all the files on John F. Kennedy is going to be put out there. The files on Robert F. Kennedy, and of course on the assassination as well of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we got all this stuff coming out, and I'm just touching the surface of this. There is an additional 2,400 files that are going to be coming out, about 2 million pages of information that still need to be released just on JFK alone. But we talked about, in other videos, we talked about Gerald Ford, the president after Richard Nixon. And I talked a lot about how Richard Nixon, supposedly, according to Tucker Carlson, was sent off and was basically framed for Watergate because he was digging into the JFK assassination, and he had to go, and his vice president had to go. And I would mention that Richard Nixon was the most popular president ever elected in the history of this country. Now, Gerald Ford, he was on the Warren Commission. He was a junior member of the Warren Commission. In a previous video, I talked about how he tampered with the Warren Commission's findings on the assassination. He changed where one of the bullets, the so-called magic bullet, hit the president. He placed the bullet through the neck of the president instead of where it was in the shoulder. He said he was trying to be more precise, but in anyone's common sense, if anyone has any kind of common sense, knows that was tampering of evidence. Years later, he becomes president, unelected, in 1974. Now, I came across, a lot of that stuff came out about the tampering of the files in 2017. Here, I come across another article for you, which is just unbelievable, on Gerald Ford. And this goes to June 8, 2016. And this article is from the Denver Post, and the headline is this. You will be shocked by this. FBI's file adds detail on using Ford as informant and probe of JFK's death. And I got so much stuff on Gerald Ford. I got more stuff on him, because he was president during the Committee on Assassinations. And they tampered with that evidence too. They tampered with that report as well. Washington headline: Washington. Former President Ford secretly advised the FBI that two of his fellow members of the Warren Commission doubted the FBI's conclusion that John F. Kennedy was shot from the 6th floor of the Texas Book Depository in Dallas, according to newly released records from Ford's FBI files. Let me read this again. Former President Ford secretly advised the FBI that two of his fellow members on the Warren Commission doubted the FBI's conclusion that JFK was shot from the 6th floor of the Texas Book Depository in Dallas. Okay. Ford, a congressman at the time, also told a senior FBI official that internal panel disputes over hiring staff, Chief Justice Earl Warren's timetable for completing the final report on the assassination, and what panel members said about the FBI. In turn, Assistant FBI Director Carter D. DeLoach confidentially advised Ford of FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover's position on panel disputes, discussed where leaks were coming from, and with Hoover's personal approval, loaned him a bureau briefcase with a lock so he could securely take the FBI report on the 1963 assassination with him on a ski trip. Holy shit. The details were included in 500 pages of the FBI's large file on Ford. Wow. Released in part this week in response to requests under the Freedom of Information Act that the Associated Press and others made on the day Ford died in December of 2006. So they held on to this for 10 years after this guy died. The FBI intends to release additional documents about Ford in several batches, all with parts censored for law enforcement and privacy reasons. It's crazy. That Ford served as the FBI's eyes and ears inside the commission has been known for years. Wow. Long ago, the government released a 1963 FBI memo that said Ford, then a Republican congressman from Michigan, had volunteered to keep the FBI informed about the panel's private deliberations, but only if their relationship remained confidential. The Bureau agreed. It is well known that Ford believed that Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy acting alone. Yeah, but why is he... And he volunteered. So he went to the FBI telling he'll be an informant. And he was basically saying that all along that it was Oswald that killed him. Not an open mind, was it? Doesn't sound like an open mind. The problem is with what happened in Dallas is a couple of things. There were CIA agents all over Dealey Plaza. There are CIA agents on the Zapruder film. 4 members of the Watergate burglary group were in Dallas that day. George H.W. Bush was in Dallas that day. And he has a very shaky alibi why he was there. He said he didn't remember why he was there. And Barbara Bush, the silver douchebag, as George Cohen liked to call her, said that George was in Haiti. But President Bush, he always said he wasn't in Haiti. He was in Dallas. There was a hotel, Sheraton Hotel, that he was in that day. He was there for a day and he left. Also, there's always been these rumors of these different members of the Bay of Pigs group that were conspiring to kill President Kennedy, because they were pissed off that he didn't support them during the Bay of Pigs. And again, Zapata was named after George Bush's oil company. But back to Ford to finish up. You have Gerald Ford now. He tampered with evidence on the Warren Commission's report. He was an informant for the FBI to tell them who on the commission was arguing about the evidence about Oswald working alone. You have him later on become a vice president of the United States because they got rid of a very popular president's vice president and eventually became president when that president supposedly did something wrong. Nobody knows what he did, or resigned because he didn't want to put the country through it. I know one thing: if that President Trump, he would have fought it to the end, and he would have won. But I don't think Nixon wanted to fight it. But that's another story for another day. But Ford is a bad actor in all this, and I got more information on him. I'll probably have to do that in a live stream because there's a lot of stuff to go through, and I can't do it in a video that's this short. So thank you for watching this video. I'll put the link on this article. Hopefully you check it out. And I'll have more stuff on all both Kennedys, on Martin Luther King, 9/11 report, the Epstein file. That should be dropping pretty soon. And of course, a few other things along the way. So thank you for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you later.